We all know this woman. We all know this woman. Okay. This case, I think, is in Guam. Yeah. Okay. We all know this woman. We all know this woman. And she everywhere. She's that woman when you come out and you say, I got touched. She's the one that come out and wants to beat you up, right? She's the one that comes out and starts targeting you and calling you, slut shaming you and calling you like this whole thing, right? This is this woman. Let's see what she did here. She's atrocious. So the man comes first. So my mom's the same way, okay? The man come first. She don't care about her kid. The man. You're messing with my man. I just literally talked about this. But so then they start doing abusive behavior. So she started doing abusive behavior to me because her man had to leave. Because she knows damn well, like, I didn't do anything. Nobody should be pushing me. But she doesn't break up with them. She just sends them away for a little bit, right? Then she still want to be with them. So there's something off with her to begin with. So we have this woman here. So her man is a rapist. Okay, and she wants to abuse her kids because they turned him in. Okay. A mother was jailed on allegations that she endangered her children as revenge for having her boyfriend arrested. We all know this woman. She everywhere. Okay, so a criminal complaint filed in Superior Court of Guam against Robin. I'm not going to even try her last name. Stated for two children reported that she'd been acting erratically after her boyfriend was arrested. Let's think about this for a moment. The type of woman that would be with the rapist anyways. Yeah, okay. The defendant was mad at her because she had filed a sexual assault complaint against the defendant's boyfriend. The children, both teenagers, appeared to be scared of their mother. Okay, according to the minor children, the defendant would get drunk, act crazy, yell, and call them names, and throw and damage household items and tell them to clean up the mess. Who does that sound like? Isn't this like a sociopath? Like a sociopath, right? You could think of some people that act this way. You see it a lot from men, but you're seeing it from a female here. The mother's alleged behavior made one of the children lock herself in a room until the mom would leave to work in the evenings. One day, police were called, and she allegedly banged on the bedroom door of one of the children with a knife. She don't need a gun, she had got a knife. Okay, so the police said they recovered a 13-inch knife from the defendant's living room couch. How scary. He also observed liquid spilled on the hallway floor tiles, which the victim said was oil the defendant spilled there to get revenge. I mean, how off kilter is this woman? Okay, so during the interview with the mom, she allegedly admitted to the allegations. I did all that. I did all that. I am a sociopath and I literally should have no kids now. So, okay, so she was sitting in her, see, she's not even arrested for like child endangerment with this boyfriend. See, I think a lot more should be done in these cases. And you see like the type of mom that allows it. So they always ask the mom or the woman that they're with, or even the father in a reversal. But you hear more with the other way around. But you'll hear him go, I had no idea my husband was out raping and killing all these women. And it's like the guy's a total jerk. Like they do an interview with him just talking regularly. I'm like, there's flags everywhere. He's not different at home from that person when they interviewed him. Think about it. So she was sitting in her living room at 2 p.m. thinking about her life, which had been difficult since her boyfriend had been arrested. I would be very happy that he's no longer in my life. And what the hell? Okay, while thinking, she exploded and went crazy. She knew she was scarring her children, but she was not in the right state of mind and could not control her emotions. So now she's charged on Saturday with child abuse and a misdemeanor. Are you kidding? That woman should be nowhere near kids. It's not a random, I'm so upset my rapist boyfriend got arrested. She's an alcoholic. She has an addiction problem here. This was, where is it? She would get drunk She got a drinking problem. That's number one. She should have no kids around her until she gets her act together. She's also mentally off kilter. So she's doing stuff, this stuff, being violent, wanting to physically harm her kids. That is not an action just because her boyfriend got arrested, okay? It just isn't. And, no way. It doesn't say how old the kids are. No way. I don't know why these women exist. I don't get it. I didn't have this in me. I would be like, thank God, you guys did the right thing. It would be a whole different thing. But I wouldn't let this guy around him. Because I would notice certain behaviors that I'm picking up from about a million of them. And then let's just say it went past me and then I found this out. Okay, yeah, I'm going to go abuse children. I'm using this as my excuse. I'm going to go abuse some kids. I just can't handle that. I went crazy. Yeah, no. Okay, if you went crazy, then you should be locked up and you shouldn't have kids around till you get sane. It's like nothing. It's like the whole thing is crazy. A misdemeanor. Child abuse is so globally bad. Because that's how they get these kids that come out like totally, oh man, really bad. Thankfully, they told on her. These aren't the ones that are taking it in and starting to act it out. These are ones that are like, oh no. They're starting to learn, because I can't imagine at our age actually turning our parents in like that. It just wasn't a thought. My dad be acting erratic a lot. So, I mean, the last thing I'm thinking, oh, I should call a cop. Are we supposed to do that? I didn't know we were supposed to do that, or we could do that. They wouldn't have done anything anyway. I'm telling you, they wouldn't have done anything anyway, because he would have talked himself out of it. The parents always overtalk the kids. They're like, oh no. It was this whole thing. It was a big old accident. And yeah, like in the one case when that happened, I'm like, yeah, but there's supposed to be mandatory reporters. If I end up in the hospital, no matter what he says, they're supposed to sit there and investigate that. I don't know why it wasn't done. It's a mystery. But he must have talked his way. But they were open. They're like, it's an accidental something. I'm like, well, he did it, so they're supposed to look at that. Because he could say anything. Crazy stuff. We're still on this thing. This is all the areas that matter. And then they're basically saying, if you report on me or on anybody, we're going to come after you. And this is women being retaliatory. And so I just want to highlight that too, because they're out here. Because I had them all over the place when my stuff came out. I almost think like the majority, I mean, I didn't do a head count, but it almost seemed like I had more women making idiotic comments on this celebrity thing than it was even men. Like the men were just being trashy as typical, but I had a few male supporters, like, but they didn't really do anything. It was just like, oh yeah, I totally believe it. All this thing, typical, like this thing. Yeah, I'm sure they did that. Like them. That's how they were talking about it, right? But they didn't do anything else about it. But then in the mix of it, there was these women that were telling me, they're like, I had sex with that guy. And I'm like, what psychotic posts this to a child victim? Something mentally off with you. Like, I don't know. I just wouldn't do it. It's one of those things where you would say maybe like, you have nothing to say. Because it's just, you're an adult woman. And there was something about that. And I'm like, but if you're a fan, then you could look at it that he was preying on the fans. Then therefore he was abusing his position of power in that way. I don't know. It just wasn't a big topic back then about the major thing of the abuse of power. But posting something like that to a child victim is just psychotic. They were just doing that. And I was just like, I don't know what their point is. I mean, it has nothing to do with my story. And so if you're not a victim, you have nothing to say. You weren't here. You don't know our relationship. You don't know anything that happened. So, and you don't have anything to say like you're a victim too. I mean, I don't know. It's like you're just trying to be a bully. It's disgusting to say something like that to somebody that got touched, or, perpetrated on in that way. So yeah. And then who else was there? So then the other girls were talking some crap, and some celebrity kids were talking some crap. Then Yeah, I was just like, they were 20. I'm like, well, what is a 20-year-old hanging out with like a 40, 50-year-old guy? I got some questions about that. So it's not really helping the story out any. You gotta love the defenders that are like, I was 18 and me and him were together and he's like 50. And I was like, he was with a minor and like that helps him. It doesn't help him at all. Like shows that he goes for really young girls. Well, we were of age though. I go, well, I wasn't. So I don't know what the hell you have to say here. I was like, just sit there and try to like make yourself seem like you're not a pedophile by going for 18 all of a sudden at the end of it. Literally doesn't help you at all. You'd almost think like, okay, you're being accused of being with minors. Then the cover, the beard cover would be like, okay, he's like a 50-year-old guy now or something. And it's like you would go, okay, I'm going to get like a 30, 40-year-old woman, right? At least to make it look like, oh, way well beyond, teens, okay? Yeah. So, no. But I'd say the worst is the one that wanted to beat me up in the other case. And yeah, they exist. They're bullies. They're bullies. They're sociopaths. They're bullies. This lady's associate. Would you want to be around this lady? So imagine if her boyfriend was raping me and I don't need to be her kid. She is the type to come to your house and try to kill you. Not the one that blames the boyfriend for his action. She goes after other females for men preying on them. That's psychotic. And there's a lot of women that have this problem. That's why I look at them. I'm like, I don't know what the hell. Like, I'll sit there and watch even women do the cockfight. So they're indoctrinated too. It's the craziest thing. It's like this one guy is like is the biggest problem. We could say it starts with a big letter B. The guy's a problem. He's been a problem, but all these women will start coming out and they start attacking each other over this guy. This guy's a hot mess. I go, no wonder he's a hot mess. He keeps getting enabled. He was started off with minors and everything else, and he's doing all this. And these women come in and protect that guy all to hell. And he's a problem. But you see the fight, it's like steered off into the women fighting. Like that's part of the indoctrination, because it's to kind of steer off and protect the men. And it's just like, that doesn't make any sense. I was like, why wouldn't you have your issue with the guy? The guy is the problem, in the story. At least in that particular, there's certain stories where it's just like everybody's a problem. But generally, that's the thing. Sharon Osbourne has done it too. It's like at the end of the day, like nobody owns anybody. So everybody makes their choices of what they're going to do. So who does the responsibility lie on? The husband, but you can make some arguments for some of these people where they're like mentally handicapped or under the influence and being taken advantage by other people. But a lot of these cases, it's not really that. Like the person just doesn't want to be around them. So they're making a choice to do something else. But then the woman will go after another woman that goes, okay, that's what he wants. Or doesn't know like the personal situations. Like I said in the other story, people literally under the radar of the public were saying that certain people were not even together. I didn't do anything with anybody, you guys. But the thing is that the story was from everybody was that they're not together. So when the media came out about other stuff, it was a little shocking because I go, no, everybody said that since this day, this day, this day. And for some reason, she's the only one saying this other story. And I go, well, now it could have been two different ways. It could be that all these men are such swine that, this other thing's going on and they hate her so much that they were trying to, start something. Or it's a thing where they're lying because they don't want everybody to know like the truth about some other stuff. And that can get other people into trouble because it's like, if people have that knowledge or think that, oh, they're not and everything, then it's a setup. It's a setup. Like, I don't think people understand the setup. It's like, oh, everybody's saying, no, the wife and the husband are separated. They're not together. And then, so let's say that guy's off doing a million things. And then all of a sudden, like, the truth is they were together, and it's just the friends telling everybody that, and then they were all part of this other thing to do stuff behind the wife's back. And then that just means that people are ignorant to the truth, and then they're just playing a game over here. That's what I'm saying. That whole story was like really weird, but nothing happened between me and the story. I was just saying that people were saying this, so I didn't even think twice about it. And I wasn't the one going to his house. I wasn't the one doing these other things. I just didn't. It became a thing where it seemed like it was like whatever. Like I'm not reacting to it because it's like, oh, they said that. Now, had I known a different story, I would be really weird. It would be a whole different thing. Cause then it would be like, oh, you gotta respect that shit. And I wouldn't go to I just wouldn't do that at the house. Like, I don't know. There was a whole thing. And maybe if I was like 18, I might be like, oh, you know what? He seems like a nice guy. Maybe he would let me meet him at the house, which is not a smart thing. But I was saying when I was really, really young. But no, these people were not young. They were like older than me. And no, that was just the common talk about those people. And then they came out with a whole different thing. And then she'd be acting all weird. And I'm like, well, shit. I'm not even the threat here, though, really. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not the threat. I mean, regardless of anything, it's like, that dude didn't even do anything. I mean, outside of me, talking with them. He's no different than the Harvey Weinstein friends to me in my mind, really, at the end of the day, where they know about a sexual assault and they're like, we're still going to work with him. Yeah, he fit right there. And it was, I could relate to that portion of the story with those victims over there because I was like, oh yeah, these people knew all about that other stuff. And then what did they do? Mm-hmm. So no, they're not the greatest guys ever. I don't give a shit what anybody says. I was like, they're the same swine of everybody else in here. They're part of the entire picture of the problem. The women and the men. The women are this way because they're indoctrinated. They're supposed to act. This is the major indoctrination right here, where they're supposed to act this way right here. This lady.